Hello everyone, this is John for PokerVIP.com and we're back here for part 3 of how to crush wild seat poker over on Virgin Games. So far you've hopefully seen the rules video, part 1 and part 2, so you understand how all this works. But basically for anyone who's just watching, 4 people enter a sit and go. They are dealt a mysterious prize, which you can see in these question mark boxes, or, well, I should say you cannot see in these question mark boxes, and you basically win anything from double your buy-in all the way to 10,000 times your buy-in. So under here, this is a £1 one. I can either have £2 or anything up to £10,000. And that's, you know, kind of the gamble of it. You don't know what you've got, so you just have to play your best all the time. But anyway, it's basically just a hyper turbo sit and go as such. King 8 basically limped the button, limped the small blind, and then it was bet to me here on the turn, which I decided to go with my King 8. I think river's going to be a check, because we can sometimes be beat here by a jack, and like 9-10 or Queen 10 that gets there. And this player actually shows up with Jack King. Now, anyone who's been watching these knows this is a place full of recreationals. And you know, it's not recreationals like you would have heard, you know, described as a fun player or a bad player or something. These are just generally people who are sat at home, haven't really played poker, like to gamble a bit online, and like the idea of trying to win lots of money. You know, the real, you know, amateurs of the world. So, you know, they will take lines that, you know, someone who's played a fair bit of poker won't. But yeah, we're going to see if we can win some money and just basically talk about the hands as they happen. I'm playing this live, so everything you see is, you know, completely, you know, unscripted. We just take each hand and play them, you know, the best we can. You can also see the chat, you know, it's kind of like a bingo community vibe, you know, what bingo really, you know, succeeded on online. Just loads of who just want to hang out and talk. This Chris and Karen player, I think has actually been on every single time I've made these videos, and I will say I've never made 2 videos on the same day yet. So just obviously playing these all day long, maybe making some money, not too sure how good they are. When I see limps like this, I probably assume not so amazing at poker. You know, probably a better way to play is to be, you know, coming in and raising with your hands. You know, we only have 20 big blinds to start, so you don't really want to be, you know, calling and then, you know, folding too often. You want to be, you know, raising, taking down the pots, crushing. And, you know, like I say, we could literally be playing for £10,000 right now. So you have to have that final table mentality. You know, in a normal tournament, you might see, you know, £10,000 for first in the lobby, and then second you'd see 0 because this is winner takes all. If you know that's happening, you're going to really play your best. So you just have to assume that every single time. Big pot going on here. Lots of pot size bets. Straight gets there on the river, and obviously an overcard. All in by Yix. Chris calls with a jack, and Yix actually just has Queen 10. So float on the flop, turn the straight draw, and then decide to bluff. And Chris and Karen was having none of it. Going to be jamming here. Essentially, an ace is really strong. You know, we've seen Chris and Karen link with Jack 5, and Yixi Plus only has 2 big blinds. So the idea is everyone folds, but Yix calls with, you know, any 2, because we're probably going to be, well, we are going to be a favourite over this range. And yeah, we just have to avoid a queen or reduce. Sadly, he's at a queen. We needed an ace or a king. We didn't hit, but, you know, definitely happy with that, you know, situation. We played that hand perfectly. And I think it's going to be exactly the same here. Actually, it's just pretty close with King 7 now. Diddy's limped. Interesting. Really, really tough spot, actually. But I think we're going to opt to go all in. I just feel like Diddy's going to be folding a lot, so that's dead money. And Yix, you know, we're going to get it in good again, which we do. We just need to avoid a queen or a 5 now, which we do, and we do knock out Yix. So, really close spot there. I really have to look that one up. But just due to playing styles and what we've seen only in the last, what, 3 minutes, I think that's absolutely fine. Quite a strong hand here, Jack, so I don't really just want to jam. You know, let's give these guys a chance to jam on us or to peel. Flop second set. I'm actually going to just min bet here. And essentially, the reason I want to do this is because I can do this as a bluff. And it also induces raises and gets us called pretty wide. you know, it's such a dry board. You know, if we've got hand like 7-8, we can bet that amount. Turn, I'm just going to bet really small again, because as you can see, there's 211 in the pot. If we bet 45 and get called, it means Diddy's going to have, you know, only 200 back into a 300 pot, so we can just safely jam the river there. I don't want to check back. I want to build the pot. You know, if Diddy somehow has a jack or an ace, then I think we get value there. 4-7, we're going to check and hopefully flop something, which we don't. But, you know, I don't think raising is that ideal with 4-7 off. So, yeah, I'd prefer to just check. Can afford the gut shot here. But, yeah, again, as you can see, just very odd plays. King 9 suited here will be a jam. Again, Diddy's going to fold a lot. Chris and Karen's probably going to wake up with not much in the big blind. So, we actually get in as a flip here. We need to just avoid a 6. And I would say pocket 6s there is such an obvious jam pre-flop, which Diddy should have made, but he did not. And he didn't win £5 that time. And that, if anyone's just showing this, seeing this for the first time, when you bust, it shows what you could have won also, which is really sick. Because, you know, you can only imagine there if that player happened to see £10,000. I'm going to call with King 4 versus the min raise. I don't want to just, you know, be folding all the time. Facing all in here. I mean, it's a pretty easy fold, obviously. Not too sure what Chris and Karen's doing it with, but that's fine. Gets on like King, Queen, Queen 9, 8, 9, something like that, maybe. Ace 7. I think this is probably just the hand best to jam. It's just never going to play that well post-flop, and if we get a 3-bet, you know, it's going to be a fold, so I'd rather just go ahead and jam that, and, you know, essentially we can't get outplayed. A 6 is going to be an all-in. You know, no matter what, if Chris limped, if min raises, 3x's, goes all in, whatever, all the money's going in. It's just so huge heads up. And as you can see there, we get it in as an 80% favourite, and we just need to avoid a 3 on the river. Okay, now we get to see what we've won. Come on, be a big one. £2, come on. I feel it's going to be big. Oh, okay, it's £2. We double our money, but it is what it is. We made some money, you know? We doubled our money, and we did all that in, what, 4 minutes? So it's not the worst hourly we've ever seen. I'm going to hop into another one, and we're just going to keep on grinding. Okay, so I registered a £10 one here. So this should be pretty fun. High stakes, baby. They offer £1, £4 and £10 buy-ins currently. I think they're going to add some more to it, but so far we're on this. I'm going to go and just slightly over min raise the button with Jack Queen. We could also just jam pre here, but I think first hand we can just go ahead and min raise it. I actually think min raising is better than actually just slightly over minning as well here. We've been raised, which sucks. Really close spot here, but 4 big blinds are going to have to peel and just hope we hit, which we don't. Really tough in these where, you know, we basically block a lot of big hands that he's representing, and our hand does play well. So when we're getting a fairly good price, we have to peel. But, you know, just look at the pot compared to stack size here. So essentially, if you hit like a straight draw, a pair, you know, a flush draw, whatever, you should just be going with it once you've peeled. Obviously, we'll get a really bad flop, so we're just going to check down here. We're going to be in recovery mode from the get-go. He's checking. I mean, I kind of hope this guy just shows up with like 10 jack suited or something. Not anymore. I don't think we need to bluff here, basically. I think there's going to be some slow played aces and some big pocket pairs out. So we're just going to check. And yeah, run into jacks. Okay, next hand. Not ideal start. We've now got, you know, just under 14 big blinds. So this is an all-in with an ace and an 8. We're four-handed, so the value of an ace goes up. You know, realistically, in a 6-handed game, this is more like an ace-9 suited or an ace-10 hand strength. And with our big blind stack and just the fact, you know, we can't really do anything else with this hand, we should go with it. And we actually get called by a pretty loose Queen 10 here, which we do not hit versus, but I'm pretty happy with the way we played. We would have only won £20 there, thankfully, but we're going to load up another one and just pretend this one never happened. Okay, so this next £1 game has loaded up, and we have been dealt pocket sixes to start. Hopefully this one lasts a little longer than before. However, we are already all in. I've got to expect people would raise a stronger hand than this. I see 40, well, there's 60 chips of dead money in there, because 20 of it belongs to us. So I feel like we're going to get a lot of folds and win those chips. Or if someone calls, we will actually be a favourite. So I think that's a really good spot with pocket sixes. 4 deuce will be a fold, even if everybody... Actually, if everybody limps, we'll probably just have to call the 10. But once we've seen that first fold, we're going to get out of there. No, guys, even though we flopped a straight draw, it is definitely better to fold there than to do anything else. We don't want to be limping into these pots too often. We want to be playing strong, aggressive poker in these games. Still can't get over that last £10 game. Can I call with Queen 10 for 14 bigs? I would say he probably should be folding there, but obviously we are very happy with the call. Pot size bet and a quick call, and 9-3 suited wins there, making a full house. Queen 7 on the button is going to be a fold. Lots of people chatting again. Not only can you play these wild seat games, there is also just, you know, generic poker tournaments and community tournaments that run over on Virgin Games. There was a one called Royal Flush, and it cost £4 to enter, and a winner got a free holiday to Vegas, which was like 4 nights in the Mirage, flights for 2 from London, and some expenses. And then lots of people won like experience days out, because obviously Virgin owns all these holidays and, you know, etc. companies. So lots to look out for, and all those updates will be over on the PokerVIP.com forum. The creators of this, Gamesy's Network Limited, have done a really good job creating it. There is talk about multi-tabling being allowed soon. So far you can just play one at a time. You know, and the reason for that is they're just trying to keep it really, really amateur friendly. And they don't want, you know, people like 20 tabling this and just, you know, taking all the amateurs' money in a day. So it's just their way of protecting. But I do think they're going to be allowing 2 or 4 tables soon, from what I hear on the grapevine. However, I could be wrong. 60 bet here on a 5-3-3 Queen 9 and a fold by Fingers, who we've seen before. We've certainly seen in these games before. Queen 7 off here. Blinds have gone up as well. Got to keep an eye on that. But we're basically at starting stack if we lose these 30 chips that we've got in the middle. It's been a limp by Fingers. That's on Blonde, who's folded. El Bonco makes up the plan, and we're just going to check here. Checking is definitely better than raising. And obviously it's way better than folding. Going to check my second pair. I have to... Ooh, now I'm going to fold. I was going to say I have to call 1. But once one person's called, you know, and it's 3-way, this is definitely going to be a fold. Because it could just be up against a better 7, a set, a 9, a big draw, like 10 Jack of Hearts. You know, if someone has that, you know, we're not going to be, you know, doing well versus them. So we're up to fold, and we see an all-in and a quick call. And Queen 10 was bluffing all the way. And 6-7 call down, which I know some of you might be like, yeah, but John, you said to fold a 7. We folded a 7 after he had. If he folded, we're calling with that 7, and so on. But, you know, we just don't know he's got that hand. So we have to go ahead and just assume we can be beat a lot or facing monster draws. You know, it'd be very hard for us to get to that river. Gonna go all in with King 5 suited on the button. Nothing else we can really do here. I don't like limping. I don't advise it in these spots. My hand is strong enough to do this. So we're just going to pile on the pressure and just try and win, you know, those blinds. And, you know, if anyone's watching, again, you know, just the meaning of a big and small blind. It is money that the player is forced to put in the pot without looking at their cards. So, you know, these guys haven't raised because they've got a good hand. They've just been dealt any 2. And we all know what junk you can wake up with in the blinds. Now, King 5 off here, slightly different situation because we have slightly more chips. Because, you know, a player's already put money in the pots voluntarily. So, you know, King 5 off doesn't play, you know, the same way King 5 suited would. I might have the best hand here. I think I'll probably call if he bets. You know, King High is going to be good a lot. But he checks and we take the pot down. You know, I don't know why he would ever check down anything worse than King High there. I'm going to go all in, blind versus blind, for 12 big blinds with an ace. Really strong hand, just piling on the pressure, don't want to limp, don't want to min raise. Ace 3 just doesn't play that great out of position in a raised pot. So it's best to just try and take those blinds down, or, you know, we can even get it in good. Going to go all in here with King 8. It's slightly courageous because we've got more chips and Fingers covers us. But we've also got to look at our effective stack size versus Blonde. who doesn't have that many chips. So we just, again, just, you know, really being harsh, you know, just trying to just make them fold. You know, Blonder's just not played many hands at all, so we assume that fold just works so often. It's profitable to keep doing it. In King 8 off is obviously, again, just quite a strong hand. 7-4 here. Blonde maybe getting a bit fed up of folding. Might, nope, just goes for a call and we just go for a check. And essentially when we check, we just hope to, you know, hit a flop. I tend to lead here with my 7-4. If Blonde checks, just because we're always going to be check folding it, but by leading we give ourselves a chance to win the pot. So yeah, we're going to try that, because we've got the gut shot. If Blonde jams, it sucks. But we got fingers to fold pretty quick, and we've got to assume that Blonde can just have absolutely nothing here. Blonde actually decides to call, and we hit our straight. I'm laughing because we could be dead against a full house, but it is pretty sick that we've hit here. So we're just going to go all in and hope Blonde has a 6 and calls. Or has on like maybe 4-5. Okay, pocket 10s. I would have probably just gone all in pre-flop with that Blonde. Or maybe just check jam the flop looking at the stack to pot ratio. Yeah, I don't think that's the greatest play I've ever seen. Could just go for a min raise with my ace queen. Obviously never folding. Just hope fingers jams a worse hand. We flop top pair queen kicker. We're going to have the best hand here pretty much always. But I'm not going to raise. Basically, I don't want to scare fingers off. And if fingers does have a draw like 4-5 and we let him get there for cheap, then so be it. But the idea here is we just don't ever want fingers to fold. We're just going to treat this as a bluff catcher and call and then call any river. We make a full house, which could suck if fingers has an ace because now they chop. But yeah, we're just essentially trying to make our hand look as weak as possible and to make fingers do something dumb. Fingers actually checks here. I'm not going to go all in because I don't know what gets called, so I'm actually going to be really cheeky and just try and get a tiny bit off him with anything. Like king high maybe fingers is just silly and check jams like nothing. So I'm basically just teasing the money out there. And as you can see, the snap fold. I don't think fingers had like 3s full. Because I think that probably pays off the river bet. So I think we just really did induce some serious action there. 7-8, I flop second pair. If fingers bets, I will just be going all in. It goes check check. We now have third pair and a 7-9 flush draw, so we're not going to fold. River we brick. And I think this is going to be a fold. Pretty close, but I think this is a fine fold. But if a spade came, a 7 or an 8 came, then obviously I'm going to be calling. Or if the board paired like another queen or I think it was a 9, then you know probably going to go ahead and make the call with my 2 pair. Jamming queen 10. I mean, fingers doesn't even have 9 big blinds. I think had just over 8 at the start of the hand, so queen 10 is a pretty good hand to jam on someone with. Ace 10 will be an all in here, no matter what fingers does. All the chips will be going in the pot. Good luck, fingers. This is for the win. We could have £10,000 here. We get it in good, but we need an ace or a jack once we see the king on the flop. And sadly, we miss. That brings the stack sizes quite close to evens. Now, could you imagine if, you know, we have £10,000 in this box and king 8 just cost us that? I mean, it's just a really horrible game when you think about it like that. Very scary. My update to just min raise the queen 6 suited, and we're going to just snap with top pair here. And we need to avoid an 8, 10 or jack on the river. And we do. We win it all. Good game, fingers. Terrible jam with second pair. And we win. We win 10,000. £2. Okay. It's just a little £2 one there. But I think we'll call it a session there, near the 20-minute mark. But yeah, basically, I think we played 3 there, maybe 4. And we won 2. £10 one didn't go well. We obviously had that hand where we opened Jack Queen and we called a 3-bet. I'm going to have to look into that a bit more because I do think it's very hard to fold Jack Queen there. Although maybe it's just a snap fold. It just blocks like Jacks, Queens, Ace Queen, Ace Jack. You know, it's a hand that flops okay. But it is a bit dicey when you're calling off so much of your stack pre-flop. But anyway, after that we went all in with Ace 9, I believe, ran into Queen 10 and lost to a 10 on the river. But that is what it is. We're going to be losing lots of those sort of 60-40, 55-45 types and just solid flips. But again, just proving that, you know, these games are very easy to beat. You know, these players are not amazing. So we can seriously, you know, clean up and make some money. So The link to sign up is in the description below and also at the side. If you need information on the deal, go to the deals page, but lots of free money to be had, lots of free tickets, community tournaments, and like I mentioned, that Royal Flush one with the holiday to Vegas. But anyway, I'll be back for part 4, and this was John for PokerVIP.com.